Hey, cutie pies. I'm Lanikia, and this is what happened on the Soaps General Hospital. Okay, it's going to be a really quick video because it wasn't much to it until the very end of the video. So we go to the Quartermaines, and they're having a celebration because Leo has officially became a Quartermaine. He is adopted by Ned, and he's very happy to have his last name changed. So in that all going on, Olivia tells Leo, hey, it tells Brooklyn and everyone, hey, Leo has a project coming up next week. It helps him because he's on the spectrum. And they're like, oh, wow, this was Drew and Brooklyn. They were like, oh, wow, that's good or whatever. And so Olivia says, Leo, go get your speech and stuff. Go get your speech and everything so you can come back down and do it. Now he tried to tell Olivia he didn't want to, but she didn't listen. So he went and got his speech and everything. Then when it was time for him to do it, he said no and ran away. Olivia, you got to do better, but I understand. So Ned says, I'm gonna go up ahead and talk to him. Now before Ned goes up and before this incident happened, there were little breakouts. So you know how you be at a party and everybody has their little moments. So Ned, Michael, and Drew had a moment where Ned says, Drew says, I talked to Mia. You remember Mia, his the life coach for Drew. He said, I talked to Mia and she said we should merge Aurora and ELQ, and then that would dilute Valentine's shares. And they said, but then that would give you the majority of the shares or whatever. And Drew was like, hey man, it's not anything official or anything like that. And Michael, a little puppy. I know y'all like Michael, but I don't. He a little puppy. He was like, yeah, we'll talk about this later. And Ned was like, no, we won't, because what's not gonna happen is y'all gonna come into ELQ thinking y'all finna get these shares, all these people. When I've been here from day one, I'm paraphrasing because that's how I felt that look what Ned gave, that's what he meant. So then we see Brooklyn. Leo had asked Brooklyn where was Chase. She said, I don't know where Chase is. I haven't heard from him, so she leaving Chase messages like, hey, call me back or whatever, get in touch and everything. And then we see Carly and Sam talk. Well, at first it was Dante and Sam, but then when Carly came up, Dante lied because he was like, I'm mm-mm. And Carly said, well, I deserve that. And Sam was like, it's all good. Like, we're working on our relationship, trust, and all that. But then they started talking about Harmony being drunk as a skunk the night before. And Willow comes up and she said, what y'all saying about my mom? And they said, no, 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 we're not talking about your mom. We're just saying, we were just talking about Alexis and we just happened to see Harmony. She said, but y'all said she was drunk. And they said, yeah. And Willow was like, well, I saw my mom last night and she had a drink, but she was not drunk. And Sam said, I don't know what to tell you, ma'am, but she was drunk. And then that's when Carly said the bartender said he served her whiskey doubles, 3 of them. And Willow says, my mom never drinks. She don't drink like that. I've never even seen her drunk. She said, but this case and everything that we have going on with Michael, it's getting to her. And Carly said, don't worry about it. She's a big girl and she can handle this because she knows it's in the best interest for you. So Willow says, yeah, I'm gonna check on her. So then Carly tells Sam, I gotta go because I want to go over here and talk to Alexis about Harmony. And she tells Sam, because Harmony said something weird, but it was probably nothing. But it was about, how Harmony had said, I wish Willow was my family. Ma'am, don't get drunk again because you can't be a killer and be drunk. Like, you got to learn from Sheila over there on Bold and the Beautiful because she got it down pat. But anyways, Carly says, I gotta go. And Sam was like, okay. So then Sam goes and talks to Dante. They make up. She just tells him, listen, I'm not used to having somebody on the straight and narrow, plays by the rules and everything. Because her men, they did what needed to be done. And she said, I'm not used to this. And he says, it's okay. I understand or whatever. But I don't always play by the rules, but I'm learning and I'm learning our situation as well. They're going to be good or whatever. Let's see. Anybody else on there? Okay, so then we go to Chase. Speaking of Brooklyn, we go to Chase. So Chase has been knocked out. Now he's in the hospital and he's ready to go. But Portia says, no, you're not going anywhere unless I discharge you. And he like, I got something important to go to. So then we see that what's her name? Elizabeth and Finn are there, and she came to the hospital. She said she had to check on Cam first, and even though she wants to ground him, he 18 and she can't do nothing to him or whatever. So she just checked to make sure he was okay. He's okay, and so then they go in there, and she says, "I'm so scared that the thought of the person doing this has turned violent. Girl, you've turned violent." a shame. And so she go in there with Finn to visit Chase, and he tells them my phone got cracked up or whatever. My phone is no good or whatever. And they said that's okay. We can still look at the security camera through the home base. So at this point, he tells her, they start talking about Aiden, and he tells her Aiden came over and he thinks Franco's done this, and she says we need to get to the bottom of this, or who's doing this to my family or whatever. So Jordan comes in. So Jordan had been with Curtis, and then she got a message that said Chase had been, hurt. So she comes over and she goes to the hospital, and she starts talking to Portia about which room is Chase is in, and Portia tells her whatever, and then she tells her, Jordan, let me talk to you. Let me just tell you, I apologize for the way I acted towards you. I didn't mean it. I was just, I was wrong for that, and I'm sorry. And Jordan said, I understand you was just trying to protect your daughter, so there's no need to apologize or whatever. And she said, but I did make it personal. She said, listen, I've been there before too. I understand. Trina is a good, but Portia let her know, I do take comfort in the fact that you're behind the scenes. You're trying to find out who did this to Trina, who framed her. And Portia said, listen, Jordan said, listen, I understand Trina is a great, respectful, law-abiding citizen, a good young lady, just like her mom, and they squashed it. And so then Jordan goes in there with Chase, and they fill her up to date on what everything is going on. And she said, we need the security footage. He tells her, my camera is messed up, but you can log into the home base or whatever, which means going to Elizabeth's home and logging in. And she tells him, Chase, sir, you cannot go. And he was like, what? And she said, no, because you're the victim, and this is an investigation. You're suspending. You can't go, but the three of us will go and we'll update you. And so Finn told him, I'm going to update you. And she was like, okay. So then Portia comes back in, and he tell Portia, I got to get to the Quartermaines. And she was like, why? And I'm like, why are you so nosy? But he was like, why? And so he tells her everything that's going on, and he tells her, hey, can I borrow your phone so I can take an Uber? So Chase ends up getting an Uber, and he goes over to the Quartermaines, and Brooklyn was like, she opens the door, and she was like, where have you been? And then he presents her with flowers and everything, and she starts smiling, because that's my favorite non-couple. That's my favorite non-couple. Okay, so moving right along. Now, Jordan, before she went to the hospital, she had been over there with Curtis, right? Because Curtis and his bartender had been there, and she was all like, woo, 4 a.m. party, and you look, y'all got these people to come in. Or are you looking they had off? Because I don't know if I could have got anybody to come in. And Jordan said 4 a.m. And so the bartender leaves, and Curtis was like, in this city, you could have a party till 2 a.m., well past 2 a.m. or whatever. She said, oh, no, I'm not saying anything, Curtis. I'm happy your place is doing well. And then she said something about Portia, and he said, listen, that's between you and Portia. Y'all gonna have to work it out. Of course, we know they did work it out. And she said, whoop, that's abrupt. I thought we were all good or whatever. And then that's when Miss Wu come in. Miss Wu was like, oops, my bad. I didn't know you had company. And excuse me. And Jordan gonna turn around and say, excuse me, he is closed. There's no guest in here. And I'm like, Jordan. And Curtis said, Miss Wu actually had a meeting with me, and she needed to discuss a party she's having. And Miss Wu said, yeah, I'm having a breakfast, a birthday, a little family gathering or something. And Jordan was just like, well, I got to go anyways. And that's when she got the call from Chase, so she went over on to Chase. So anyways, Miss Wu and Curtis talk, and she's like, don't you forget your end of the deal. And he said, I didn't forget my end of the deal. Like, as long as you don't bring drugs and guns in my place of establishment, we're all good or whatever. And she's like, I'm not gonna do that. Last night was a success. He told her, yeah, it was a success. So where's my information? And so she had the information up, and he was reaching for it, and she pulled it back. And he said, I don't know who you used to dealing with, but where is Bun over here? So I'm going to help you. I'm going to keep doing your little parties periodically. He's not going to try to do these parties every week or whatever. And she was like, all right. But then she gives him a file, and she tells Curtis, listen, I've dealt with family stuff myself. So what I'm gonna tell you is that be careful when you look into this, because you might find something you don't want to see, and once you cross that line, you can't go back. And Curtis said, listen, this is family business. You're not involved in that or whatever. He wasn't rude or anything about it, but she said, you're right, and she left. She left. She said, I'm just giving you the warning. And she leaves. So then Curtis opens up the file. We don't know what the file said because he didn't tell us nothing. And they didn't show us anything. But then in the back, we see Trina walk in and he says, we're closed. But his back was to Trina, so he didn't know it was her. He said, we're closed. And Trina said, Curtis? And he was like, Trina, what you doing here? And she said, I came to tell you that I saw your daddy on the pier and he was leaving. He had a ticket. He about to leave. So we see that Trina had been on the pier with Marshall, and she saw he was about to leave or whatever. Because she was like, "You got a lot of suitcases. You don't pack light." And she said, "Wait, are you leaving?" And he said, "Yeah, it's my time has come to an end here." And she knows that he's hiding something, but she's like, "Something you got to just tell whatever it is." And they like each other, so her and Trina and Marshall just had a nice conversation about how your family, you're getting to know these people and they love you and they're going to be disappointed that you just up and leave, and sometimes it is the easy way out just to leave instead of just to deal with the consequences and try to build off that or whatever. But he tells her he got to go, but then he tells her it was nice getting to know her because she's a lovely young lady, and he's going to miss, he liked her, so it was nice getting to know her and everything. But anyways, so Trina went and warned and told Curtis that Marshall is leaving. So now Marshall Ferry has come because he's on the pier, right? So it's come to pick him up. And before he can get on, Curtis shows up and he said, so you running away again. And that's how I ended with them. Now, going over to Jordan, Finn, and Elizabeth. So Jordan, Finn, and Elizabeth go over to Elizabeth's house because that's where you have to go to log in so they can see the camera footage. Because remember, Chase put in camera footage to see who was doing this to Elizabeth. So they go over there for the camera footage and they look at it and it's corrupted. They don't even get in like after that, so they don't see who knocked out Chase or anything. Jordan was like, it's corrupted. And Elizabeth just looked, girl, it was you. Like, go talk to Kevin so you can figure this out. And please, this storyline, like, y'all got storylines going on. I hope y'all are focusing on it. Like, don't go and get all into this Nina, Michael, and Willow trial and article storyline and then leave these. I can't deal with this another month. Wrap this up. Okay. So then we see that it's corrupted and they're just like, oh my gosh. So then we see that so Harmony is talking to Alexis, right? Harmony and Alexis are talking. And Alexis says, you bought me a drink and told me to drink, encouraged me to drink it. And Harmony was like, oh my God, Alexis, I'm so sorry. Because Harmony was like, I don't drink. So she don't remember nothing that happened the night before or whatever. But she remembered to get that file off the table. Like, girl, I'm surprised Alexis didn't go in there. But anyways, they start talking and Alexis is like, what is going on? Because you don't seem like yourself. And so she says, it's just this whole thing with Michael and Willow. And she says, so Smaltz must have gotten to you. And she said, what are you talking about? And so then Alexis tells them about the article that they're going to do on Nina. And Harmony is like, you could not do this article. No, ma'am. Did it. And Alexis said, excuse me? She said, Alexis, you know my history and everything that's been happening with me and all that. So you can't do this article. She says, I know that it's not my secret to tell that you're not Willow's mother or whatever. So the invader won't tell that. But she said, you have to tell that. So she'll keep that away from the papers or whatever. And Alexis and Harmony is just like, it won't be long before other people find out just by doing a little digging themselves about what happened, about her and Willow being in the that court or whatever. And she said, but Harmony is just like, Alexis, if you were my friend, then you would dead this story after everything I've done for you. Like when you were there, I talked you off a ledge and everything. And when you wanted to, when you came back, I still supported you, even though you ain't want nothing to do with me and all that. And Alexis said, if you were my friend, then you wouldn't put me in a position telling me to dead this story and not let it play out at all. And Alexis says, I'm about to go to work, but when I come back, we're going to have to talk about these living arrangements. So then Alexis leaves And Harmony throws something on the floor, whatever, some glass. And then she takes her papers, right? And she's putting the papers on the fire. But the girl doesn't have any matches, so she go and get matches. Now remember, Carly said she was coming over to talk to Alexis. So Carly knocks on the door once, she knocks on the door twice. She might have knocked on it 3 times. But nobody answered. So she looked and she said, but I know Harmony car in the driveway, so she here. So then Carly walks in. Okay, what is wrong with y'all? So then Carly walks in, and Harmony has came back by then, and she's has the matches lit and everything because she about to set it on fire. The paperwork from Neil's folder, she about to put it on fire or whatever. And Carly's like, Harmony? And that's how General Hospital went off today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you Monday for a new episode.